Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning.
How are you doing?
Doing okay. Yeah, got my coffee here. Had our holiday party yesterday, so still waking up
It must have been late night for a few of us.
a little
John,
bit,
how
a
are
little bit.
you?
I'm doing great too. How are you?
Doing good. It's Friday morning, so that's always a perk, right? So for those of us watching who might not know some of these faces, I'm Rebecca. I'm the new marketing manager at LaunchPad, and with me today we have Ryan Francis, the CEO of LaunchPad, and John Koht, the founder of Kohactive. So thank you guys for joining me again after a late night with our holiday party.
Of course, yeah. Happy to be here.
So for those of us watching who may not be super familiar with what LaunchPad does, Ryan, can you give us like a 30-second overview of the company and kind of what we specialize in?
Yeah, of course. So Launchpad is a digital product development studio. So what that all those words mean is that we help our clients build digital products, and that can take a lot of different forms. It could be as simple as building a new website for their company to help raise awareness and ultimately bring in leads and business. Or it could be as complicated as building a totally custom web platform where all their customers or employees can all engage around the data for the business and in the operations of the business. So lots of different ways that we can help our clients to ultimately catch up from a digital standpoint and sort of get ahead and make technology competitive advantage. But at the core, it's building digital products with our clients.
John, and how does that align with the Coactive business model?
It's pretty much identical to the Kohactive business model. And one thing to add on to what Ryan said, kind of at the root of everything we do, we kind of build partnerships with our clients. So it's not really this client and vendor relationship. It's really more of a partnership. We're helping consult up front, helping them understand and how to align their software goals and product goals with their business goals. So it's really kind of a two-step consultative approach, partnership, and then this like execution on the design and development side. But other than that, everything is pretty much aligned on our business models.
And how did the two companies first get introduced to each other? How did you guys meet?
Oh, we just met on Craigslist. Company looking for acquire. No, I'm kidding. Scott, one of the founders of Launchpad, and I met about 5 years ago at an event, and we stayed in touch. Our offices are about 6 blocks away from each other. We're both on Huron. So we just met at Starbucks all the time, chatted about, building products, managing clients, managing the team and the tools and technologies we use. And so it's been a pretty long relationship that we've had over the last few years.
And what was kind of the number one driver of the acquisition? Ryan, maybe you can tell us from your perspective, and then John could kind of tell us why it was attractive for him as well.
Yeah, for us, it's very rare to find another organization that actually follows the same and has the same like principles and philosophies and approach that your organization does and that our organization does. We were very surprised that how similar Coactive was to us, and over the years we just really it became something where we're sharing best practices with Coactive. They're sharing best practices with us, and we got to know the team, and it just felt like a natural opportunity to merge our teams together and sort of combine our best our best practices and sort of our thinking about how to build digital products and to ultimately be able to expand on the mutual sort of value that we can add to our mutual clients. So I'd say the big driver is really about how do we continue to evolve as a product development company in doing better at that, doing better at strategy work to figure out what are the digital products that we should be building, doing better at the design work to make sure we're really thinking about the user in every aspect of the design, to the development work, and Coactive has some really technical people that we were able to bring onto the team, and some lots of experience with high scale type products. So lots of reasons why the acquisition made sense, but I would say at the core of it, it's about expanding our capabilities and our offerings to our clients.
John, why was the acquisition attractive from your perspective?
You know, one thing that Ryan usually talks about when he talks about the acquisition elsewhere is he always talks about how we aligned on a lot of values. And I always laugh at our first value of Coactive and LaunchPad was the same, phrased a bit differently. The Coactive was put humans first, and the LaunchPad one was put people first. And about 5 or so of our other values kind of aligned word for word. And so I think, you know, it made sense because LaunchPad was a bigger company. They had a bigger team, and we had aligned on everything else. And so it made sense to kind of put our powers together, continue to serve our clients and their clients, and take everything to the next level. The one other thing that I think made a lot of sense is that we have you know, this user-centric approach, and as did they. And so we didn't want to you know, go into this you know, assembly line development team and move into, you know, this partnership like I mentioned earlier. And so it just made sense from a holistic standpoint of just being able to merge together and not have to realign on anything, since we were already aligned on all of our values and philosophies.
So when we think about kind of the 3 pillars to client success, we've got strategy, we've got human-centered design, and then we've got the actual technical execution. Ryan, can you talk a little bit more about the first pillar, the strategy side?
Yeah, sure. And just to comment real quickly on John's last point on the value side of things, I think one thing that I've noticed is that, you know, in general in software development right now, there's sort of this trend towards, I think John mentioned this, like assembly line model of software development. And that is something we sort of push hard against at LaunchPad, and Coactive also pushed hard against it. And what that sort of model is you have strategists or designers who are sort of teeing up what the product should be and how it should work and what the features are, and really getting very detailed with what the design of that is, and then sort of throwing those features over the fence to developers, sometimes in, you know, overseas or you know, contractors or whatnot, but sort of throwing that design over the fence to developers to then like execute and implement. And we think that's a fundamental breakdown in sort of there's loss of integrity in the process. We believe that developers and engineers should be actively involved in that design process and in that shaping process. And the cross-functional elements of product and design and development, bringing those things together into a cohesive team creative process is really critical to the success of the software, not just from a getting the features done standpoint, but one of our values that we had on our sheet that Kohactive has on their value sheet is to own the outcome. And that's what this is all about. It's let's not just build features, let's build towards the business's goals and the outcomes they're trying to achieve. And that's where I think LaunchPad and Coactive, the approach and the philosophies are so aligned, and you just don't find that everywhere. So it was a really unique aspect that our values were so aligned. And then to get to your actual question on like what strategy kind of means. And so, you know, again, there's like 3 sort of pillars. There's strategy at the forefront, and that's really all about how do we know like what problems to solve. So for a business, there's lots of different options that they have in front of them from a technology standpoint. You know, it could be to, you know, refresh or create a new website. It could be to make their buying experience better, or it could be to help with the operations and streamlining operational efficiencies. There's opportunities sort of all across the board for an organization. And so we come in and really consult with them and take a look at their digital strategy and compare that with the industry, with other industries, because we do have experience across many industries, to help them see a roadmap forward on their, you know, digital technology strategy. So that's really what that's all about. It's helping partner with our clients on defining that map forward for their business from a technology standpoint. And then, you know, then we sort of come into the more the design and the development stage to execute.
John, can you elaborate on the second pillar about human-centered design and Coactive's approach to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Ryan said, the strategy side is about, you know, what should be built and why. But, you know, typically when you build software, you're building it for somebody or some group of people, some person or human that'll be using it. And so human-centered design is about approaching these people, bringing them into the design process to understand what they need, what their goals are, Does this particular solution solve their problem well? And it's really about shaping your business strategy into a tangible solution that's developed or designed towards these end users. And so we had a lot of experience doing that, and that's something we want to continue doing at LaunchPad and help all of our clients use human-centered design as part of their process.
And then last but not least, we have kind of the technical execution. Ryan, can you tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so in terms of the technical execution, this is where you start to move into more of that like agile sprint cadence of process where, we're incrementally delivering features every 2 weeks. The key elements of the sort of technical delivery process is that one is that you're incrementally delivering functionality. So you don't want to be in a situation where you sort of you can't see what's going on with the digital product you're trying to build until like the end of the project where you sort of have this big product dumped on your lap and then you look at it for the first time and you're like, this isn't what we wanted. So we believe that everything should be done incrementally and transparently with our clients so that they're very much part of that creative process and journey. And they can raise any concerns about the product early so that we can pivot if we need to on what we're building together. So there's, on the technical side, there's, first it's how do you have the right project kind of environment and setup to be successful? And those are like hygiene type things, like every 2 weeks we're going to deliver features. What are you going to do from a project management standpoint to stay organized? Lots of different like features in our process to help support that. But at the core of it is that incremental releases. And then in terms of not just from a delivery standpoint, but from more of like an actual like technical skill set, how do we make sure that our client applications are compliant? A lot of times we're dealing with HIPAA compliance or we're dealing with GDPR compliance. Very, anytime you're dealing with industries like healthcare or financial services, you have a high bar of quality that must be met with the security and the technical foundation that's put in place. So our developers have lots of experience with building these really, high importance, high compliance type products. Kohactive's team, they bring a lot of technical capabilities to the table. They have, one engineer that has 15 years of experience building applications and has, I think they have several clients that have millions of users a month. So there's definitely a high degree of scale that Kohactive's technical engineers can bring to the table in making sure that, we have really solid foundations set up for our clients from a technology, perspective.
And, from my perspective, being pretty new to the team, when I joined this past month, it hasn't seemed like it's been the Kohactive team and then the LaunchPad team. Everyone has really felt like they're operating as one full team. So do you have anything else that you'd want to add about like how initially kind of merging the teams was and how they got started on client projects working together?
Is that directed to me or John? Sorry.
Let's hear from both. Ryan, maybe you can go first.
Sure. Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, I think it's been about as seamless, I think, as an acquisition like could go. We started off with sort of having Kohactive, be its own, we work in pods. So a pod is a cross-functional team of product manager, designer, and developers. So we started off with, Kohactive just sort of being its own pod to begin with, but we've really begun to integrate that much more and started to move clients more onto other like LaunchPad pods and sort of distribute the team out to other LaunchPad pods. So I would say, it's still going, like we're still in the, midstream on integration, but from a implement or integration standpoint, I can't picture it have gone, going any smoother. I think John's team, they use a lot of the same tools and technologies that we do. So it was pretty much just a matter of, switching over their emails and getting them on our accounts and having some, lunch and learns to align on some of the processes.
Yeah, I agree. And it's, we, the Kohactive pod, we've been together for at least, I think, 2.5, 3 years at the shortest time frame. So, we know how to work together and we know how to build software. And since we share the same tools and technologies as LaunchPad, it was pretty easy just to jump in there and start working, start sharing ideas and starting to jump from one project to the next. I think the best way I can describe how successful the integration was is that I have some clients that, if I didn't tell them that we were being acquired and merging into LaunchPad, I don't think they would have ever noticed. And we were actively working, two full-time people on the project, and we happened to merge in and continue on and build a pretty big, robust system that's going to be launching any day now. So I think that's a pretty good sign of success for the merger.
Absolutely. And John, obviously you were the founder of Kohactive. What is your new role going to be within LaunchPad?
My role will be the VP of Client Strategy, which basically means I will help from a strategic standpoint for clients, but it kind of sits between the sales and the product development. So when we have clients that are existing clients that are looking ahead for the next year or two, or new clients that are looking for a partner like LaunchPad, I'll help them unpack their ideas, workshop their goals for the next few years, and try to create a product vision for them, and then a strategy that our team can actually work through in this kind of agile development process over the course of a year or two to help the client get that competitive edge or build that new product.
So yeah, having a role that's set up just for focusing on strategy and pushing our clients' visions and like opportunities forward, I think is going to really benefit our clients tremendously.
That's really exciting. I'm sure, not only our internal team members are really excited to have kind of that change of pace and John working from the strategic side, but our clients are really going to benefit from that as well. Well, thank you both for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the insight into the acquisition. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to add or kind of talk through this morning?
I'm good.
Well, thanks for having us and doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your Friday and have a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
You too.
Yeah, see you.
Thanks. Bye.